Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have some really dumb challenge ideas for Catch Cup, so here's the first one. I haven't been keeping track of how many Pokemon I've built this season. I'm just hoping that I've built 3 so that I can have a team for this video. But the challenge for this video is going to be not building anything new for Catch Cup. So basically, I have to see whatever Pokemon I have built during this season. I have to take those, make a team, and then use them in the Catch Cup. I'm not allowed to build anything new for Catch Cup. I just have to hope that I have something that I can use, and the team's probably going to be really unbalanced because I don't get to pick and choose what goes into my team. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the Pokemon that I have built for the first time with you guys. I haven't seen what I have. Like I said, I haven't been keeping track. Hopefully I have 3. They might not make a good team, but if I don't, we might not have a video. If I do, then we have a video. But if you guys came here to learn something, I don't know if this is the video for you. We're definitely going to be trying our best with whatever Pokemon I have. But yeah, let's get into this. So, I'm just going to open Catch Cup right now. First time with you guys. I'm going to be seeing what Pokemon I have. And I have an idea of what I might have. Like, I know that we had Community Day for Wooper, so I definitely have the Clodsire. I might have a Charjabug. We'll see. Okay. Oh no. It looks like I haven't built much. Okay, wait. Let's see how many I have with 2 moves. Okay, so I have exactly 3 Pokemon. Oh no. Is that all I've really built this season? I've only made 3? Charjabug, Clodsire, and Galarian Zapdos. Interesting. Oh, these suck. This team is gonna be awful. Oh no. Okay, what's it weak to? It's weak to everything, isn't it? It's pretty weak to everything. It's especially weak to Gligar. And guess what? There's gonna be a lot of Gligars. I saw my friend streaming, and he ran into a lot of Gligars, so good luck to me. Also, Runerigus, I might see some of those because we had the Halloween event. Oh boy. At least I'll be giving some experts some free wins. I'm gonna be playing at like 2900 elo. I'm not expecting myself to get any wins with this team. I can't see myself winning. But let's get into these battles. I think it's gonna be fun regardless. Future Taffy here. I don't know what I was expecting with this team, but I had so much fun. I have some amazing wins with this team, and we didn't go positive. We went negative, but the sets I went negative in, I still had so much fun with. Okay, let's get into these battles. Up first, we're going to see a Bombardier on the lead, and an already amazing lead for us. Hopefully, we're going to be able to take it out. I was running a Discharge at first before I switched it to Crunch. I needed the Crunch for, like, Palisand and Runerigus. Ah, okay. This is the game where I run into the Palisand, and I lose pretty hard to this. They have a Jellicent in the back, by the way. Moving on to the next game. So here I'm going to go ahead and change that Discharge to Crunch. Obviously, this whole team is really weak to Ghost types, and also, Crunch is going to be neutral against Gligar, at least if I see one. So on to the next game, we are going to be seeing a Shadow Sneasler on the lead. This is doing a ton of damage to my Charjabug, and these aerial aces are really going to hurt. Yeah, that did like 50% of my health, unfortunately. I'm gonna go for these X-Scissors. Now that I've swapped the Discharge off of it, I don't have anything that will hit for neutral, so I have to go for the X-Scissor. I'm gonna bring in Clodsire because I'm expecting it to have close combat and aerial ace. Aerial ace will be neutral, but at least I can try to threaten with the Earthquake. But my opponent goes ahead and switches into their own Clodsire. I'm gonna be able to land an Earthquake and take out most of their health, and I was hoping this would be a Sludge Bomb. Unfortunately, they are running Stone Edge. Gonna bring in Charjabug, and this Crunch is not going to be enough to take it out. My opponent brings back in Sneasler. I'm going to go ahead and farm it down completely. I don't think I win this one. Let's see what my opponent has in the back. Ah, they bring back in the Clodsire. I'm gonna go ahead and shield, and then I'm going to attempt to farm it all the way down. At least I'll have a lot of energy for whatever my opponent has in the back. We'll see what they have. Oh no, the Stone Edge shook me up. Never mind, we lose that one too. But if I had been able to farm down the Clodsire all the way, I would have had 2 close combats for that Arctibax in the back. So I'm gonna say that was a close game. On to the next match, we are going to be seeing a really good lead of Charizard into our Charjabug. The opponent is going to swap immediately into S-Cab, and I should have swapped immediately into my Zapdos. Now, I thought my opponent was going to be running Drill Run and Mega Horn, so I go ahead and no shield, and they're running Aerial Ace. We get hit with an Aerial Ace. So unfortunate for us. I felt like there was no point shielding the next Aerial Ace, although I should have tried to CMP tie on the close combat. But that's okay, we bring in our Charjabug and we're going to farm down the S-Cab and have a lot of energy for this Quagsire. And actually, it's good that I'm seeing Quagsire now against my Charjabug because I don't want my Clodsire to see Quagsire. Because Quagsire beats Clodsire. I go ahead and I do a weird thing where I catch the Mud Bomb on my Clodsire. I guess because I wanted to save the Charjabug for this Charizard. So I'm going to go ahead and Sludge Bomb this Charizard. I want them to throw all their energy here. They go for a Blast Burn. That's really good for us. I'm going to go ahead and shield and farm them all the way down. They're not going to be able to make it to another move. And now I have 2 X-Scissors that I can throw at this very low HP Quagsire. And I'm going to be able to take this win. GG's to my opponent. That's our first win with the team. I'm also getting used to using it. And I have some really amazing wins coming up. So please stick around. On to the next game, we are going to be seeing a Vigoroth lead into our Charjabug. Not the greatest lead, but not the worst also. The fast move from this Vigoroth is going to be resisted. I'm going to go straight X-Scissor in this matchup. I think 2 will be enough to take it out, I hope. Let's see how much it does. Yes, I think 2 with the Volt Switches would be enough. However, I am going to go ahead and catch the next Body Slam on my Clodsire. I successfully draw out a Ghost type, so I have been safe swapping Clodsire to draw out Ghost types because, like I said, Galarian Zapdos in the back is going to be very weak to Ghosts, especially Jellicent, so it's good that we're seeing it here. I'm going to go straight for these Earthquakes and they are going to be neutral. I'm going to get it into the yellow, and I think a Crunch should be able to KO from this range. Hopefully my opponent lets it go because I really want to get rid of it. They do let it go, and my opponent brings in a Trevenant. And this is where I mess up because I really could have won this game. All I had to do was throw 2 close combats as soon as I got them, especially since my opponent gave me a win con there where they tried to catch on a Vigoroth. I go ahead and I farm them down and I have enough for 2 close combats. Unfortunately, I get greedy and I try to go for that Brave Bird. I could have taken a shield from my opponent, or I could have gotten them low enough where an X-Scissor would have KO'd, but now I'm not going to be able to reach a Crunch. X-Scissor I don't think would have been enough to KO my opponent, so I am going to lose that, but I could have won that. Like I said, we do get better at using the team as I practice with it. Moving on, we are going to be seeing a Gardevoir on the lead, a Shadow Gardevoir. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky. I know that my opponent is probably going to have a Poison Answer in the back, especially for Clodsire, because Clodsire is everywhere. So I have to try to take it out with these X-Scissors. They go ahead and they shield the first one, but they don't shield the second one, which is okay. My opponent brings in Lickitung now, and I blind swap into my Clodsire. I couldn't let them farm down Charjabug because they would have so much energy to throw at Zapdos if I had wanted alignment and I wanted to bring in Zapdos into this Lickitung. But thankfully, they do swap out into Dewgong, and now I am hoping that with 2 shields, my Zapdos is going to be able to sweep. I'm not going to shield anything on Clodsire. My plan is bring Zapdos and farm down all the way, and then I can have 2 close combats for the Lickitung in the back. The Dewgong is not able to reach another Icy Wind, which is perfect for us. That means I have a shield saved for a Body Slam. I'm going to go for this close combat here, and then I'm going to swap to clear my debuff. And I'm only 2 away from close combat. My opponent has 2 Body Slams here, but I win CMP, so I'm able to throw the close combat, take out that Lickitung, and we take that win. So the first set we play, we do manage to get 2 wins out of 5, and I'm okay with that. That's a win in my book because I was really expecting us to lose all our games with this team. Moving on to the next match, I am going to be seeing a Medicham lead into our Charjabug. This is actually where I want to see it because Medicham against Zapdos and Clodsire is not that great for us. So my goal here is just to get it as low as possible so that I could bring in something from the back and farm it down. 2 X-Scissors should put it really, really low, like really in the red. And this X-Scissor almost comes close to KOing, but I didn't feel like it would be worth shielding my Charge-a-Bug because shields for Zapdos are very, very important. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out with Zapdos, and my opponent brings in Carbink. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for the close combat, and then I'm going to swap into my Clodsire. Already the Carbink is at half health, which is really good. My opponent then brings in a Trevenant. Now, this is going to get really tricky because Trevenant isn't going to be taking a lot of damage from the Sludge Bombs, and it's really difficult to reach a Brave Bird on our Zapdos against this Trevenant. So I'm going to try as much as I can to take it out with Clodsire. I go ahead and shield the Shadow Ball here so that I could force them to throw another Shadow Ball. This Sludge Bomb should be able to take out their last shield, and then I am actually going to bank my energy because I need it for Carbink. I try to snipe with my Zapdos. I'm not able to. They're able to bring back in Carbink, and they reach Rock Slide, and that takes us out. Well, almost takes us out, and then they're able to take us out with the Rock Throws. But because I have the Earthquake stored up, I can go for it immediately, take out the Carbink, and then we're able to simultaneously KO our opponent. But in my book, that's a win because my opponent was running super meta and I was running whatever this garbage is. So yeah, that's a win in my book. But moving on to the next match, we are going to be seeing a Jellicent on the lead, and I have to hope that my opponent is going to stay in this matchup. I go ahead and throw on bad timing because, you know, I'm a noob. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know why I did, but I would have had more energy. My opponent is going to go ahead and bring in Clodsire, and I'm thinking that maybe my Zapdos isn't going to be that useful to me. And of course, my opponent is running Stone Edge on Clodsire when I'm running a Bug type and a Flying type, so that's fun. And the Stone Edge does so much damage to Zapdos. I go ahead and I try to bait here with a close combat. It doesn't work. It doesn't take their shield. My opponent no-shields that, and then they shield the Brave Bird. Unfortunate for me. I'm going to go ahead and let my Zapdos go here, and I'm going to bring back in my Charge-a-Bug, go for a Crunch, which is not going to be enough to take out their Clodsire, and then I'm going to attempt to catch the Stone Edge on my own Clodsire, and we are able to do that successfully. Now I have to go for the Sludge Bomb immediately because I don't want to be hit by an Earthquake. My opponent is going to bring back in Jellicent, which means their backline is going to be weak to Clodsire, or what they have in the back is going to be weak to Clodsire. And I am correct. They end up having a Toxapex in the back. Unfortunately, while my last 2 Pokemon are technically really good against Toxapex, they do not have enough health to take it out. I'm going to reach an Earthquake here and I'm going to be able to land it. I did think that maybe I could try catching a Brine on my Charge-a-Bug, but my opponent threw it at a really weird time, so I wasn't able to predict when they were going to throw that Brine. They end up taking out my Clodsire, and I don't have Discharge on my Charge-a-Bug, so I'm not going to be able to take them out. Even a Discharge would not have been enough to KO this Toxapex. But moving on to the next match, we are going to be seeing a Medicham on the lead again. I have to stay in because this is my best answer to Medicham. I'm gonna go straight for these X-Scissors and hopefully I can get him really low before he swaps out. My opponent is gonna go for a Psychic. I'm gonna let that go. Unfortunately, it is going to hurt. But then my opponent swaps into... I don't know how to pronounce this pig's name. I'm gonna call it Piggy. So they swap into Piggy, and I'm able to bring in my Zapdos, but Zapdos is so squishy, so I have to double shield it because I don't think I can take a single Body Slam. I'm going to go ahead and farm it down all the way, and then I'm going to throw 2 close combats at this Medicham. These are going to go ahead and take both of their final shields, which is really good for me, and then I'm going to combo with the Charge-a-Bug. Going to go ahead and throw that X-Scissor. Unfortunately, it is not enough to take out the Medicham, and my opponent has an Alolan Sandslash in the back. This is really bad for my backline. I do bring in Zapdos now to get some counter damage and to force my opponent to throw. They go ahead and throw all their energy. They have to use that Ice Punch, otherwise I would have gotten them really, really low. Unfortunately, I'm going to take another Ice Punch on my Clodsire before I can reach an Earthquake. I have to go for the Earthquake because I don't think the Sludge Bomb would have KO'd, but my opponent doesn't build up to the Psychic. They throw the Ice Punch and it's not enough to KO Clodsire because Clodsire is very tanky, and we're able to Poison Sting them down and take that win. On to the next match. This is going to be from the next set. I played 4 sets with this team, and I don't have time to review them all, so I am going to go ahead and skip a few matches. But this one's interesting. My opponent led Charizard, and then they bring in a Shadow Aerodactyl. Now, I forgot that Shadow Aerodactyl has access to Earth Power. I thought it only had Rock moves for some reason. But yes, of course it has Earth Power. They go ahead and they Earth Power my Clodsire, and unfortunately, they take us out, but not without taking both of their shields. So this is amazing for Zapdos. That means I can come in, farm down this Aerodactyl, and whatever energy I can throw at the Charizard is going to go unshielded. I'm going to be able to one-shot it. Now, unfortunately, I do get a debuff from the Earth Power on my Zapdos, so I do swap into my Charjabug to clear the debuff, and my opponent brings in a Gourgeist. And I have access to Crunch, so I'm able to throw 2 Crunches to take it out, and I'm also able to reach a Crunch on the Charizard, and that puts it in the red so that I can take it out with a close combat from my Zapdos, and we take that win. GG's to my opponent, though. I have to respect them for running that spice. This next match is my absolute favorite match out of all of the games I played running this team. We are absolutely hard countered on the lead and on the switch. We lead Charjabug into their Clodsire, and then I swap into Clodsire because that's the only-ish answer I have on my team for Clodsire. And then my opponent brings in Jellicent, so we're even more hard countered. But take a guess which Pokemon is going to be the absolute star of this game. I can't wait to show you guys. So, we are in this matchup against this Jellicent. They do go ahead and invest a shield to shield one of our Earthquakes. We are able to land a second Earthquake, however, and we land a Sludge Bomb. That's not enough to take it out, so I am going to have to Volt Switch it down with our Charjabug, and then I'm going to instantly swap into my Zapdos, and my opponent brings in a Shadow Sableye. But these counters are absolutely hurting it. I am going to build up to 2 close combats, take their final shield with the first close combat, and then take it out with the second close combat. And guess what? This Clodsire is running Mudshot. That means its fast move is doing absolutely nothing to our Zapdos, so I am able to land that Brave Bird, and then I can reach a Crunch on Charjabug. But the Clodsire survives with 1 HP. I am able to sneak a Volt Switch, however, and the Sludge Bomb doesn't take us out. We're able to take it out with the Volt Switch damage, and we take that win. GG's to my opponent. Okay, so obviously I was struggling against opposing ground types, especially Gligar and Clodsire, so I thought maybe I'd try out Water Pulse. It's a garbage move, by the way, but it works so well to make my opponent think that I don't have Earthquake. You'll see. So first match of this set, we absolutely destroy our opponent with Zapdos. Look at Zapdos go, taking out these 10 CP Pokemons. Clearly, someone doesn't have the patience for Catch Cup. I don't have the patience for Catch Cup, but I think it's great for content. Anyways, moving on. In the next match, we are going to be seeing a Jellicent lead, which is exactly where we want to see it. Now, my opponent swaps in Quagsire, and I don't want to swap into my Zapdos just yet. I want to chip it and then swap. So I do have to take a Mud Bomb on my Charjabug, and then I swap in Zapdos, and my plan here is to counter it down completely. Now, I have to watch out for the Stone Edge, so I go ahead and I invest a shield, but my opponent is running Aqua Tail and Mud Bomb. So I'm going to be able to counter it down, and I have a lot of energy for this Jellicent. Going to go for this Brave Bird immediately, not even going to bother to bait. And my opponent does not shield it. Now I can throw a close combat, and my opponent shields it because they want to keep their Jellicent alive. They're going to be able to, unfortunately, hex us down. And my opponent has Clodsire in the back. This is not looking good for us because they have an energy lead. I'm going to go ahead and shield the first one because I have a feeling they're going to go straight for that Earthquake. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the Water Pulse and make my opponent think that I don't have Earthquake. And then on the second move, I'm going to throw the Earthquake, take out most of their health, and I'm really happy with this. They probably thought we weren't running Earthquake, probably thought we were running Sludge Bomb and Water Pulse. So that worked out for us, but Water Pulse is absolutely garbage. Now my opponent went ahead and swapped in their Jellicent, and I don't think they meant to catch the Water Pulse because they went ahead and shielded that, and they have so much energy on Jellicent, so I think that might have been a miscount from them. They probably thought they could snipe with Jellicent, but I was able to throw the Water Pulse and take their final shield, and then I was able to farm it down with Charger Bug and have a crunch for their Clodsire. GG's to my opponent. Moving on to the next match, we are going to be seeing a Trevenant on the lead, and hopefully they don't expect the crunch here. This is just an X-Scissor, and yes, it lands, but it only puts them in the yellow. It doesn't do enough damage. So unfortunately, we do have to take that Shadow Ball. I like to save shields for my Zapdos, and here I think I should have brought in Zapdos and attempted to farm down instead of Clodsire. I have to take a Shadow Ball on my Clodsire, unfortunately, but my opponent is going to bring in their own Clodsire, and I'm going to go for this Water Pulse. Again, make them think that I only have Water Pulse on this Clodsire. I'm going to go ahead and shield here because I won't survive an Earthquake, but now I'm going to go for this Earthquake, and hopefully my opponent doesn't shield, and they don't, and then that works out for us again. Now I'm just going to let my opponent take us out with the Earthquake because they are in farm down range for Zapdos. We're able to farm them down and have energy for what they have in the back, but unfortunately, they have 2 shields left, and I have nothing that I can swap into to clear a debuff. So I'm going to go for this close combat, take their first shield, go for the second close combat, take their second shield, and even now they're going to try to catch on Trevenant, but because I'm debuffed, the Shadow Claws are enough to take me out. GG's to my opponent. Moving on to the final game of this video, we are going to be seeing a Quagsire on the lead, and I am going to instantly swap into Zapdos for some reason. I don't know why I did this, but it's okay. It kind of worked out for us. I got lucky. My opponent goes ahead and throws an Aqua Tail. I thought it was a Stone Edge, so I shielded, but again, someone else who's running Aqua Tail and Mud Bomb. Now, my opponent let me get so much energy on their Quagsire, so when they swap in this Trevenant, I am able to build up enough energy for a close combat and a Brave Bird. I'm going to go ahead and bait with the close combat. It takes their first shield, and now I am going to call the Seed Bomb. I had a feeling they weren't going to go for the Shadow Ball. Luckily, we survived even though we are debuffed, and then I can reach that Brave Bird, and my opponent no-shields it, and we take out the Trevenant. Unfortunately, my opponent Mudshots me down with Quagsire. However, now knowing that they are running Aqua Tail and Mud Bomb, I can safely bring in Charge Bug and go for these X-Scissors, which are going to be neutral. Now, my opponent has a lot of energy. They're going to go for an Aqua Tail first and then a Mud Bomb. Aqua Tail is not that great of a move. And then they're going to bring in Shadow Sneasler. I am going to take their final shield with this X-Scissor. Maybe they think it is a discharge. And then I can bring in Clodsire. Now, I do go ahead and build up to the Earthquake. However, I thought they would throw Aerial Ace here, but they went ahead and threw Close Combat. So I tapped the Earthquake before I tapped the Water Pulse. If I knew they were going to debuff themselves, I would have gone for that Water Pulse. I went for the Earthquake, and this is more than enough to take out Shadow Sneasler. And then my opponent is unfortunately going to Mudshot my Clodsire down. Again, having a ton of energy, but I am able to reach an X-Scissor, and this is actually enough to take it out. I really thought it might survive, but thankfully we are able to take it out. GG's to my opponent. And we finally went positive in one set with this team. Did it take one person coming in with 10 CP Pokemon for us to get these 3 wins? Maybe. I mean, let's be honest, that battle was all skill, right? But even though we went negative, I still had a ton of fun playing with these Pokemon. And that's what Catch Cup should be about. It's about using what you have and making it work. And I had so much fun trying to figure out how I was going to make the most unbalanced team work. But I can respect the people who are still trying to reach Legend. They are not having fun with Catch Cup. They are annoyed, and some of them feel like they have to build new Pokemon for this cup because they want a chance to reach Legend. And if they just use non-meta Pokemon, then they're probably going to drop. And I'm only having fun because I've already reached Legend, so I can actually, you know, throw games with some spice. But for those of you who are still trying to reach Legend, especially in Catch Cup, I am going to be making more Catch Cup content. I am going to be challenging myself to be using different Pokemon, and if you are still trying to get there, I wish you the best of luck. I actually really hate that this is the only cup that we can play for an entire week. I wish there was another cup along with it, but it is what it is. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you guys like my content, please consider subscribing. Maybe leave a like on the video. It helps me out a ton. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.